All right, good evening, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Just a couple of minutes late here, just looking over the latest guidance. And it's hard to look at just the latest guidance when in regards to the severe weather threat for the weekend because we're still so far out. So by tomorrow night, we should start getting better high-resolution model guidance in, and that'll help us out. As far as your plans, I wouldn't cancel anything this weekend. A lot of people talking about, you got ball games. I used to be in that situation, and who knows, maybe I'll be in that situation again as a grandparent. So, but right now, again, no plans of that right now, but kids are not playing ball. So again, ball games coming up this weekend, maybe some weddings coming up. We're going to talk about Saturday, but more importantly for some, Sunday and the risk for severe weather. That's going to come late Sunday night, and it may trend even later as we continue on. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on now, and we're going to get into this weekend forecast. There's no big threat for severe weather Saturday again. It's all Sunday night. Right now it's comfortable outside, but it's not as nice as it was earlier this afternoon. Not necessarily riding around with the windows down. Here's your planner for tomorrow, almost to the weekend. We've got beautiful sunshine tomorrow, a perfect spring day, temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, about 46 degrees as we start off the day. And it's going to feel like the upper 30s if we get a little bit of wind tomorrow morning. So as far as what's going on right now, we've kind of got phase one of the weekend. We've got this storm system down in South Texas, and it could create a lot of issues out there with the flooding. They're expecting a lot of rain. In fact, some areas may get over 10 inches of rain. And if you've never been into West Texas, it's almost like a desert. It's so dry, but you get a lot of rain and it causes a lot of problems in a short period of time. Now, as we take a look at the water vapor satellite, look at that monster storm just off the coast there, the Pacific Northwest. They've got a severe thunderstorm watch, and they're looking at potentially up to 2-inch hailstones there in parts of Oregon and Washington State, so almost unheard of. In fact, it is unheard of to see that size hail out there, and it's all because of this cold core upper low. But the reason I'm showing you this is because this area of rotation, that spin, think of it like a bicycle wheel, and there's spokes in that, and every now and then one of those spokes kind of flies off, and that's what's going to be energizing our atmosphere over the coming days. So we'll continue to monitor that. And right now, again, everything coming into phase. We've got a first alert weather day out for Sunday. So here's the first thing we're talking about. And this is very conditional threat here. This is 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. roughly. We get really warm. It's going to feel like a summer day out there. There's plenty of instability, and we're going to go over this in a second. But the storms are going to struggle to form if it's too warm aloft, and I'll have more on this in just a second as well. If we do get storms, they'll be severe rather quickly. They could become supercell storms, and they're going to move more easterly at about 35 to 40 miles an hour. Now, as we get after 9 o'clock, we will likely see a round of showers and thunderstorms, potentially some supercell storms in Middle Tennessee, north of Memphis, those areas, and those will eventually form a line of storms that track south. So that complex of storms will move south with very heavy rain, very intense lightning, large hail, damaging winds, and more of an embedded tornado risk. Those are the low end, the EF0, EF1, maybe even as high as EF2 from that. But it's not an outbreak of severe weather by any means. It's more of a complex like you'd see in the summertime. They'll be tracking southeast, and we're just trying to get the timing out on when that's going to move in. So here's the tornado potential. If isolated storms fire in the afternoon, we would have the potential for stronger type tornadoes. That would be the cap breaking. I'll explain the cap here in just a second. And again, those tornadoes could be strong if they develop. Right now, I'd say there's about a 15% chance of that happening. Pollen's got me down. Anyway, I had to wash some of that out. But again, spin up tornado threat in the evening, late evening, and overnight. So here's our storm energy. This is one of the things we lacked with the last event was this instability. This is why it's going to feel so muggy outside. It's going to feel like we're going to get a heavy dose of thunderstorms, and we likely will Sunday night. This is Sunday afternoon. This is when everyone's out enjoying the weather, probably sweating. Make sure you stay hydrated. This is going to get some of you probably poolside, as warm as it's going to be. And I'm not kidding. It's going to be really, really warm. But one thing that you don't see here, again, these are all joules per kilogram. It's a scientific term here. That's all the buoyancy in the air. That's the fuel for thunderstorms. And then the other thing I'm going to show you, and that goes up to 2 in the morning. So there's still a lot going on. It's still very muggy into the night. And that's why we're likely going to see some large hail and a lot of lightning with the storms. As far as putting that energy together with the amount of spin that's in the atmosphere, that's where we come up with this number here. It's called Energy Helicity Index. And anything above a 1 would provide the threat for tornadoes. Notice the clock here, that's 8:30. So we have an atmosphere that's very prime for severe weather. However, it may be too warm for severe weather as you go up above the atmosphere. So this is all kind of locked in place. This is why if anything breaks through the cap, it would be considered significant and develop rapidly. But those chances, again, I'm putting them at about 15%, very low. So here's the main reason why. As we go to the overnight hours, that fades away, so we're not really expecting this to be too prolonged. So here's our main concern. It's going to be with the line coming in, and our highest confidence, I should say. It's not necessarily our main concern. The main concern would be the cap breaks and we get supercell thunderstorms, but I'm telling you that's probably not going to happen. So the main confidence is going to be with this line of storms coming in after 9 o'clock. So roughly 9 to 2 a.m., and this could shift. The models are kind of right down the middle trying to figure this out. And that's why we're going to have better information as the high-resolution models come in. The high-resolution models not only have high resolution, they run every 3 hours, so they give us updates. These models run about every 12 hours, well, actually every 6 hours, but the most accurate are after the sounding data comes in, so about every 12 hours. The ones we hang our hats on, the 0Z run and the 12Z run. So according to this, we're looking at probably south of the Huntsville metro area down to Coleman and over to Sand Mountain, overnight storms, 11 o'clock to 4 a.m., and this is why we stress NOAA weather radio. So here is a look at how your Saturday's shaping up. Again, a lot of people wondering about Saturday. We're going to start off cloudy. It'll be muggy out there, but the shower activity may hold off until after even 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The farther west you are, the farther southwest you are, the more likely the rain's going to come, interrupt your plans a little earlier in the day. I still wouldn't cancel anything based on this model guidance. Not whatsoever. Don't cancel anything yet. By 6 o'clock, more green showing up, and eventually we get a lot more rain coming back up in and continuing on. Maybe you can help me over here. We've got questions, but they're not popping up on the screen.
Yeah.
So again, something new we're trying to implicate here or initiate. I guess I got a double clip? Oh, I got to add those to the queue, maybe? So this makes it a little more conversational.
Yeah, something like that.
Phil Campbell checking in. Meridianville and Haleyville checking in tonight. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. There they are.
There we go.
Will Sand Mountain Magic come into play? Probably not. The angle, especially if this is coming in from almost due north, we typically don't get that. But you're covering me like this duck
it's like,
here.
what?
Yeah, I guess that's the only issue here is
Maybe we could do it like
maybe we go full screen.
the desk cam maybe.
Desk cam. Yeah, that's
Okay.
better. I mean, that works better. I guess we could kind of, I
Yeah.
guess, how can I turn that off and on, I guess?
So you just press this number 2. You just,
Number 2?
Yeah, you just take the mouse and then you push it on it.
Whoop.
Or
So I turn it off and turn it on.
turn it on.
Okay.
There you go.
So I guess
Any of
we'll go
these
full
things.
screen and plot some of these. But I wish we could get it to where, again, you guys are all part of an experiment tonight too. If we could make it so it's not as, because most of our messages are not that long. So maybe
Yeah.
take
let's
note of that.
Make a note.
All right.
All right.
Again, Sand Mountain Magic, probably not going to,
see anything? You just add it.
okay, so I come over here.
You click it and you
And then
just say
add to queue?
and then
All
it'll add
right.
it on there.
This is why producers are so important in this business. All right, we got another question.
Oh, beautiful. Look at that.
Said the kids are flying into Nashville at noon. Yeah, you probably should be okay flying in at noon Sunday. The storm, there may be a tornado watch out at some point in northern Tennessee and southern Kentucky by the early afternoon. But it's definitely going to be muggy, and we'll keep an eye on that. But going to turn that off, and then we'll get back to our regularly scheduled program. As we take a look now at the weekend, this is going to be Saturday, overnight Saturday night into early Sunday morning. Rumbles of thunder, locally heavy rain possible. This showed up today. It wasn't there yesterday. I don't know what time it's going to show up tomorrow. So again, the model guidance is kind of all over the place. But the key is better rain chances as we get later into the day on Saturday. Here's Sunday. Again, by 1 o'clock, we expect some sunshine. It's going to be very muggy. But again, the cap, we're going to talk about that cap in just a second, that lid on the atmosphere. It's not only warming up at the surface, but it's also getting warm way up in the atmosphere. And we need a trigger, and typically that's a cold front, to come in and take the lid off. I made rice tonight. I had fajitas tonight. I actually made rice, and I thought about this. Basically, that rice is steaming in the water, and then you pull the lid off, and you get the steam that comes out. Until you take that lid off, there's no steam. So that's exactly what we're talking about. With these storms firing up, it's all boiling underneath there, but it's just the lid's on it, so to speak. So right now, this is looking like 10:30, but this could slide back to 11:30 or 12:30. We'll just have a better idea when the model guidance comes in. Again, the key here is make sure you're prepared, be ready for it, because it's coming overnight, during the overnight hours, and that's what we are concerned with. Let me turn the 2 back on. We've got a going fishing Saturday morning. How's it going to look? Saturday morning, actually a pretty good day to fish, I think. It may be a little overcast out there. I don't think we're going to see a lot of wind. But overall, you're welcome, by the way. And I don't think we're going to see too many issues out there in the morning. The fish are probably going to be biting. I don't know if the crappie are biting out there yet or not. I've been too busy building my garage. Here's the thing you want to remember. Tornadoes by month. April's our peak tornadoes a month, and we watch it very, very closely. So once again, with that in mind, just make sure you are aware. We're going to take a quick commercial break here. It lasts a minute. And then we're going to get back to your 10-day forecast, and I'll explain this whole cap thing for you in case you still didn't understand my rice analogy of that. All right. I stopped the break, and we're back. So here's what we mean by the inversion. This is more of a cooler season inversion here depicted, but you get the same general idea. Let's see, what can I do to just take this full screen? Do I? Well, I mean the graphic full screen. CTV1? Okay, so this gives you a better explanation here. You see the, I'm going to add some of your questions here to Q as well. But the air rises and it reaches a certain point. Yeah, Alabama weather like a box of chocolate. Jackson County, it won't be raining in the morning. What hail size do you think we'll get with the storms? All right, so let me add these on here real quick. Okay, so as the air rises, typically it gets colder, kind of like when you go up on a mountain, it gets colder. But in this case, the air's going to warm, and then it reaches a point where it can't rise anymore, and it stops. Therefore, it keeps the storms from forming. Going fishing in Jackson County, no rain in the morning. All this hype that's been popping up. Yeah, every event we've had has been hyped, overhyped. It's severe weather season, so you should expect these systems to do that. It's gonna be, I can't say any specific areas as far as who's got the greatest threat. I will say the worst of the weather may actually be in northern parts of Middle Tennessee earlier in the day before this all kind of converges. Answered that question a little bit earlier, flying into Nashville. Yeah, so don't cancel any plans and just keep it tuned here. We will keep you up to date. Another thing I want to show you, I think I've got this queued up. The supercell thunderstorm. The key parts to displaying supercells on radar. We may see a few of these in Tennessee, and we'll watch that. You get that area in purple is going to be the hail core, and you get the debris ball to the south of that. And then what we look for in these is you've got regions for supercell on radar. You got heavy rainfall in this area in green. You got the hail core in purple, and you got the debris ball, of course, the warm surface winds, and then the cold upper level winds end up falling with the hail core, and that's what creates this area on the back edge where you get the actual tornado. So that's why we worry about supercells the most. Again, there's your hail core. In that part of the storm, if somebody asks what kind of hail do we think we're going to get, we could possibly get golf ball size hail from this, given the fact there's so much cape out there. So those are things we'll watch. Again, you've got the warm surface winds that'll come in from the south, and if you get tornado warnings with supercells, you want to watch areas to the south. Even if this tornado tracks north of you, you can get these 80 to 100 mile an hour winds doing straight line wind damage, the influence of the storm, and then the cooler air on the backside. Usually that's from the hail. And then as far as the tornado, well, the debris ball is there. That indicates typically that there is a tornado on the ground. And I don't want to alarm anyone just showing you this. I just had these graphics. I thought I'd show them to you. And so that's kind of the way I got that. A few more questions. Alabama, yeah, like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, and that's typical of this time of year. Here is a look at your 7-day forecast, turning into 10-day forecast. What we're looking at, some really nice weather. Hope you get out to enjoy it. And that's the real problem with the hype. And I know what the Storm Prediction Center is trying to do. They're into the science of everything, and the science says, yeah, we'll probably have severe weather. But I think it's been taken out of context when they put out this slight risk so many days out, because it used to be when you started talking about this, it was a big deal and it was a major outbreak of severe weather. That's just not the case. I think the technology's there to predict when we could have a slight risk of severe weather. However, everyone's used to seeing 7 days out. If they're hyping up the weather, it's going to be something really significant. That's not always the case, but we do get severe weather. So again, having said that, a lot of people spend their time with anxiety, and you spend 5 days worried about a storm that's coming in, and the day it comes, you may only get gusty winds and heavy rain in your location. So please try to if you have this storm anxiety, just, I don't know, try to deal with it, speak to somebody about it, because it's hard to go through and try to explain every scenario that could happen, because we honestly just don't know exactly how this is going to play out. We are forecasting, we are preparing you for a possible severe weather event. And that's basically kind of how it all boils down. But as you can see, as we get past Sunday night into Monday morning, we're back to nice weather. It's like Mother Nature didn't just try to kill us, right? I've seen that meme out there before. So Tuesday, Wednesday will be nice, and then another round of potentially some stronger thunderstorms next week. I thank you for sharing your time with me. The timing is going to be after 9 o'clock Sunday night, and that could shift even past midnight. So the model guidance will run again tonight. I may post an update on Facebook on my page coming up after the 10 o'clock, and it'll be probably midnight. Depends on if I feel tired or if I'm going to go to bed early tonight or not. But again, that's the other thing. For us meteorologists, not just me, all the meteorologists, you spend the entire 5 days prior to an event trying to update everyone, and by the day of the event, it's exhausting. So after that event is over, there's so much relief. It's like, okay, I'm checking out for the weekend kind of thing. So again, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Y'all have a safe night, and I'll be back at 9:30 tomorrow night. Taking a break. I'll be back from the hockey game. Again, I'll be at that Havoc game the next. And speaking of wearing out, man, 3 back-to-back hockey games, man. You guys take care.